Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Origins review here on Pez of the Mind. I am James Phoenix, your host for Origins, and today we will be talking about the newly released Star Trek Discovery. Joining me is my first officer, Mr. Moloch.
Thank you. And I think you'll find winning this award was highly logical, sir. Wearing a Star Trek uniform because I care.
Yeah.
Caring.
Handling communications because apparently in Star Trek women don't do anything. Stacy.
Sure, why not?
We live in Star Trek?
No, but it's a Star Trek theme review. And technically that was only true of the original series because Uhura was just communications. They fixed that in every other series, so.
No. My joke was saying women in real life don't do anything. I was being sexist.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. That works. Fair enough. Anywho, yes. We're going to be talking about episodes 1 and 2 of Star Trek Discovery. We're going to cut it off after 2.
That's right, Pew. Set your faces to snark.
Ah!
Okay, no, we'll be doing that more.
I see what you did there. Very nice. So, of course, this unprecedented with this new Star Trek series is that it is actually not on television, although the first episode was to get people interested. It's actually airing on at least over here on the streaming service CBS All Access, whereas in other parts of the world, like in Mole's side of the pond, it's on Netflix.
Yep. It's also worth noting, before we call it this during the review, it's not an anthology series.
Not, okay.
Originally, the person making it was going to make an anthology series, but apparently he was told no. Make the series before the original series, so the next season could be the same cast.
Okay, that'd be cool. Which, if that's the case, it kind of surprises me because I know we haven't totally introduced him, and he doesn't really show up in the first 2 episodes because you don't really even see the Discovery. But I feel like Jason Isaacs, as cool as it is having him as captain, I feel like if I were Jason Isaacs, there would be things that would pay me more money than I would want to do than be on this Star Trek show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Star Trek's a good enough brand that being on it would make it suddenly go, whoa, recognition for when you go to
I guess that's true. All right, but yes, the first 2 episodes, episode 1, The Vulcan Hello, and episode 2, Battle at the Binary Stars. Rather unprecedented for a Star Trek series is the named title ship, in this case the Discovery, is not seen in these 2 episodes. Instead, we focus on these 2 episodes on the USS Shenzhou under the command of Captain Philippa Georgiou, played by Michelle Yao.
Yep. Also different is the intro is kind of like what if Enterprise had sex with the original series, because it's that like picture style intro is similar, not completely like Enterprise, but similar enough.
Yeah,
with like more classic Star Wars music over the top. It wasn't like Taylor Swift song or something.
I've never seen Enterprise.
It should have been, look what you made me do. Look what you made me. Look what you just made me do.
Yes.
Taylor Swift is awesome.
Hashtag T-Swift.
Just like Wonder Woman.
Yes.
I totally wear her costume if it was not appropriate for work.
Yeah, men should not wear Wonder Woman costumes.
No.
Unless you're Braun Strowman. You've seen the picture. It's out there. And that's a real picture too. So that's
no, it is. It's totally a real picture. It's hilarious.
And yes, it's not the most embarrassing thing a wrestlers appeared in.
Nope. That's not the most embarrassing thing that wrestlers appeared in.
What are you going to hold up?
I don't have anything to hold up. I could point to a number of things. Santa with muscles. Santa Slay was okay. Knucklehead.
This looks to be terrible. A lot of people, even on the back of the box, it says the biggest, baddest movie of the year. People saying it's worse than the original.
It probably is.
If you watch it now, yeah.
Probably, but it's still not as bad as Hogan being in a racist sex tape.
Debatable.
Oh, damn. Okay.
All right, Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek. So we focus on the Shinzu and our main character, First Officer Michael Burnham, played by what is his actor's name? Off the top of my head, I don't remember. Where are we going here? Come on, where's the cast? Why don't you have a
Michelle
cast?
Keaton.
No.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
No. Sonequa Martin Green. There we go.
That's close.
That just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
I know. And playing First Officer Michael Burnham, why she has a man's name has not been disclosed yet, but there is an intentional reason for that, according to the producers. And we see her interesting backstory, having apparently been the first human ever to attend the Vulcan Science Academy and other Vulcan schooling, and as a result, having a very cool, logical demeanor, and having a struggle with her human side, similar to what we saw with Spock in the original series, who was, of course, half human.
Yep, I'm going to make a prediction, which may be completely way off.
Okay.
That's not her name.
Okay.
I'm predicting her name's probably like Michelle or something like that, but she might have called it Michael so she could get through. So she could get through the academy and stuff and go to the ranks that are normally assigned to men, so she could go higher. They'll do that thing and sort of poke fun at the fact, oh, the woman's having to pretend to be a man to get higher. Feminism.
It's possible, although it's been well known. I mean, even in Enterprise's day in Vulcan society, women were equal to men. I mean, yes, there was still some of that marriage for power thing going on, but women could generally achieve the same positions. I mean, T'Pol was the second officer of the Enterprise, for God's sake.
Which the Vulcans looked at the Enterprise like it was shit.
Well, yeah, they looked down on the humans. That wasn't because she was a woman. That was because they looked at the humans as a bunch of savages that didn't belong in space.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. Like, if you look at the episode one in the past, they didn't really treat her well. And if you look at her with her people, they don't treat her well. And they put her on the vessel with the race they deem unworthy. It's essentially like if Vince McMahon was to take someone and just throw them on main event instead of on Raw or SmackDown. And saying, I'm treating them equal. I'm treating them equal. That's not how this works.
Sure. Although to be fair, T'Pol's mother was a high-ranking professor and well-known, So there was some equality there.
There was, but also Star Trek does like to, or at least some of the originals, tackle issues that are being done in society now in space, and the whole female-male divide's one that's coming up a lot now. I could see that being an issue.
That is true. Which, if that was the case of Vulcan society, that could make sense. Although it does have an interesting juxtaposition. The fact that she did that only to end up serving under a female captain in Starfleet.
She did.
I like the captain.
Yes, Michelle Yeoh was excellent as captain.
But that could be something like the humans are willing to put the people in that position. Maybe not the Vulcans.
That's possible, yeah.
It could just be unrelated. It's just a theory I was throwing out there.
Is it logical for women to be captains?
Only if the show's not called Voyager.
Oh.
Huh.
Well, that wasn't logical for that woman to be captain because Jamie was out of her fucking mind.
But there is some changes in this series which we need to address. Like Klingons look completely different.
Yeah, they look really cool.
Yeah, they said it might be addressed later, and they also did point out that, to be fair, like Klingons looked vastly different in Next Generation to how they looked in the original series, and it wasn't explained until all the way around until we got to Enterprise, which means if you look at the series and how Klingons are, they're not always the same look. They do change them. This looks cool. They look more alien.
Yeah.
They do. And I like how they did.
Are we talking in order, or are we just going to be shooting this shit about all of them?
Whatever is easier.
All right. The reason why, because I didn't want to go out of place for that, is it kind of annoyed me that the Klingon died. The one in the gold armor, because I looked at him and I was like, oh my god, he's cool. He's going to be a great villain. Second episode dead. I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah, well.
He's dead.
Yeah, he was dead, Jim.
He was dead, Jim.
Just to be clear, you said Discovery is not seen within the first 2 episodes, right? You said that's what you said?
Yeah, we don't see the ship Discovery in the first 2 episodes.
That puts a really good mark on me where I should not talk about. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Good. But yeah, it was really good, and I did like how they went out there to establish where they were in terms of the Klingon Empire's history, because that was interesting. Because we've always heard, we didn't know much about what was going on with the Klingons because they showed up once in a blue moon in original, and we know that humans really had nothing to do with them and were kind of animosity toward them in the Enterprise era. So now we know it's the point where the Klingons are there, but they're very divided. The great houses are all warring with each other, but we know that over the course of the next 100 or so years, by the time we get to next gen times, they're actually going to be more united. Even around the time of Kirk, they're going to be a little more united because of these events. So it's cool to see what brought the Klingon Empire together.
Yep. Although I believe, I might be wrong, I believe he said it's only set a decade before Kirk.
Yes.
Yes.
Therefore, it wouldn't be 100 so years, it'd just be 10.
No, it's 10 years before Kirk, but 100 before next gen.
Yes, but in Kirk's time, they were united. They were just the enemy. Which means we might see them unite in this series, and it could be a big
it could be
a big deal.
It depends how long it takes it to unite. Because we didn't. The thing was, the problem was in Kirk's era, we just didn't see a lot of the Klingon Empire outside of a few ships that showed up now and again, so it was hard to tell.
Yeah,
whereas in next gen, because they had Worf, they delved a lot more into the geopolitical structure of the Klingon Empire.
Yeah, but the original series did keep telling you that war with the Klingon Empire, which would imply all of it. Which I could see them doing something in this of uniting them, and then suddenly everyone going, "Oh shit, the Klingons going to be a threat,"
and launching the war that we see. That would make sense, yeah. And this is how it started: is Takuma brought them together, uniting the ghosts. Because of course, for those that know, in the later eras, the Klingon Empire is united, and each of the great houses has a seat on the Klingon High Council with a chancellor that's in charge. So they found a way to equally rule and share power, which is kind of cool, even though there are still power struggles. So I'm going to be interested to see if we see them actually establish the Klingon High Council and the chancellorship, and maybe introduced to the first Klingon chancellor. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah. So I like that pale, skinny dude who's a science guy.
He was cool. I like that guy.
I don't know what he is. He kind of looks like a Solarian from Mass Effect is the only comparison I could possibly make.
His name is Sorrow, and he is a Kelpian.
Okay, sounds about right. I mean...
Also, something I wonder, this series, because they said it's meant to take place in the original timeline, do you think we might actually get to see the race that was in Enterprise that never was seen again? If you remember, Enterprise invented a race, and then we never actually see them again in Star Trek because each series normally has a new race.
Right.
I was wondering if maybe we'll see them die. Like, what if the Klingons just wipe them out in this one?
Where does Enterprise take place?
Enterprise takes
100 years before this-ish.
Yeah,
okay.
thereabouts.
I've never seen Enterprise.
Yeah, Enterprise the Enterprise was the first Warp 5 ship that the Earth ever made. It was the first ship that let them travel outside of our solar system, basically. So they were the first ship to go out and represent humanity in the stars, and Archer was the first captain to deal with all that stuff. And that's why in that series you actually see them invent a lot of stuff that we see in later series. Like you see the guy that's in charge of the weapons invent the red alert and shit like that. It's kind of cool.
Yep. Which I'm not sure if you'd agree. It would be cool to see that race again. I
agree. Which you're talking about the shiny guys, right?
It might be them. Yeah, the ones like the Enterprise invented a race. They were like a major playing race in Enterprise.
Yeah, the guys that could turn invisible and stuff.
And then they suddenly, after the thing, they just ran off.
Yeah,
we never saw them again. I think it'd be cool to see the Klingons wipe them out, so we know, oh shit, the Klingons are a massive threat.
That would be interesting to see, although that would also be interesting to see that play out, if only because that race was kind of being informed by a guy from the future, so you would hope he would warn them.
But he wouldn't have knowledge of this. Because you remember the Time War, he only had knowledge up to the certain stuff, and when essentially Archer interfered and stopped that happening, they'd already changed the future, so that race shouldn't have lived as long as they did.
That's true.
So wipe them out, all of them.
Yeah, well, genocide is a good way to get somebody over as being evil.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting how they could mind meld over a distance or something.
Yeah, that was new. We've never seen a Vulcan do that before. I don't know how Sarek did that.
Yep. Well, it did take a lot out of his life force.
It did.
Also, I'd be interested to know if these new Klingons are the new race for this series, because each season they say invent a new alien race. It's in the Star Trek Bible, as they say.
It is. Well, they invented the race of that science dude that we were talking about. He's new.
He is, but they normally have a big major playing one, so I was like, the new Klingons could be it.
Could be.
It could be him as well.
Did they really only have one? Because, like, didn't Next Gen have, like, a bunch?
Not really, because most of the races there were mentioned in Kirk's era. The only one that Next Gen really, I mean, there's like minor ones that you see in one episode and never again, yes. But in terms of recurring races that are part of Star Trek lore, the only one they invented were the Ferengi. And the only reason the Ferengi didn't become more of a threat is because they bombed immediately. So they were like, shit, get the Romulans, get the Romulans.
Wait, I thought they invented the Cardassians.
And Borg in Next Gen.
And the Borg was the other one when they went back to the drawing board, yes.
And I think the Q.
Yes, Q.
Oh, so Cardassians were in the original?
No, the Cardassians did show up.
They were
also Next Gen, yes.
They were, but the father was still a man, so unfortunately he's going to appear in this one as a woman.
Ha! 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 Well done. Yeah, the Cardassians were invented in Next Gen. They did show up in a couple of episodes here and there, but they weren't really established and delved into until DS9, which is where they were a major race.
But they still existed, though.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, what we want about is the Bible, as they said on one of the shows and stuff. They mentioned it normally says you have to do something new with a race each series. So, like, and Next Gen's its big one is the Borg.
Yeah.
And then, like, when you go to Voyager and stuff, and even I think Deep Space Nine did it and stuff. Each one tries to do something new. So hopefully they do it.
Yeah. Well, Deep Space Nine was really the Cardassians and the Bajorans, because the only Bajoran we saw in Next Gen was Ensign Ro for a brief time before she went over, and so it was really the Cardassians and them, and then also all the races of the Dominion.
Yeah. But it is cool that they do that, because if you're going forward, why not?
Yeah.
It's always cool to see something new.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The only problem is if you're doing a prequel, you have to kill them all or explain why you're not seeing them later.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only problem with that.
Another thing I liked in this one was how she could logic break the computer. Like, she could be like, hey, computer, you have to let me out because I'm going to die. I can't do that because safety features. Well, the safety feature is going to kill me, so it's not safe. Open. Like, you know?
That was clever. I like that.
Yeah, it's worth noting, in my opinion, the crew on this are more human. As I mentioned to Jim, they're less holier than thou that we normally see. They're more three-dimensional.
Mm.
Like, the captain seemed like a bitch.
Kind of.
In parts of it. When she was with the other woman, I think it was the Vulcan one, she just seemed like a bitch to her for no reason. But, like, her underling, or her minion, or whatever you want to say, like, the one who's the main character, not the captain.
Yeah.
Like, the way we seeing her and how she's viewing the world, so that could be more how she views her captain.
Yeah.
Because unlike the previous series where it's like the captain is the focal point, this one it's the first officer, which means things are changing, and seeing a more three-dimensional, living, breathing, real cast is cool. I like that.
Yeah, that was one of the things I really liked about Enterprise when I watched it. And you know, the other series, they were really cool, but it was always, oh, these are how people are acting in the future. Whereas Enterprise, it felt like, oh, these are how people now would actually act if they launched a ship into space.
Yep, I like the Enterprise. I do agree it is one of the most underrated seasons of Star Trek, probably the most underrated.
Oh yeah,
and after Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, and it was always so fun and realistic. It's like, oh, the engineer is Southern, and he likes to talk about how he eats catfish, and the captain has a dog, and it's like, oh, this is how it would be if we actually went, and they have a movie night every Tuesday. It's like, this is cool.
Yeah, the only problem I had with Enterprise, I did like Enterprise, like you know. My only problem was they speeded through technology way too fast. Like, if you look at the short span they were going, by the end of it, they have almost the same take capabilities as the original series. It's like they're like, oh, we need to work on the communicator. By 2 episodes later, they've got it working.
True, yeah, but there were still some things here and there. They still had a lot of races that were Hoshi would have to get the translator to the right stuff so they could do it. They never had a shield array, so they were always susceptible to being shot because they didn't have shield. The weapons were not up to the same level, even though they did invent phase cannons. They were very low level and barely, new, so they weren't all that effective.
Yeah, they were, but
we only saw the other race that had holodeck technology. Starfleet wouldn't get that until much later. That's because another race invented it. And the transporters were only just being used for people. They were still considered really dangerous.
Yeah, but I just meant they speeded through it. Like, even Hoshi, when she was translating and stuff like that, the first episode, she struggled like fuck because she hadn't seen a race before. And it was like, oh, that's how it's going to be each time. When I got to the next one, she'd already almost mastered their race. Just a couple of words she didn't. And you're like, oh, come on, you're powering through it too much. You're getting the, you know what I mean? The progression was a little off, I felt. But,
a little bit, yeah.
Like I said, I still liked the series. I still loved the series.
Yeah. Yeah.
Archer is awesome.
Yeah. Pew, if you want, I actually own the whole series of Enterprise on DVD if you want to borrow them.
Like I said, I'll get through Deep Space Nine on Netflix.
Yeah, do that first.
Or it might actually be on Netflix.
It probably is.
Yeah.
Because they have an agreement with Netflix, which is why we're getting it over here.
Right.
Like over here on Netflix now, we now have the animated series. We have all of Star Trek on there, which is cool.
Right. Although my understanding, I don't know, have you started DS9 on Netflix over here, Pew?
Yes, I'm on season 2. Then
Okay.
there's a 3-part episode. I was like, what kind of shit is that? I expected to lose it at the second one, and then there it keeps going. Why?
Oh, yeah. I've got to hate 3-part episodes. By the way, tune in later this month when we review Invasion.
I mean, that was like, I knew it was going to happen. This one, I didn't know.
But no. Yeah, like I said, I love the uniforms on this.
Oh,
they were
really
cool
good.
uniforms.
Yeah.
The uniforms look cool. I will say the cinematography on this looks more cinematic than it does on the originals. Yes. I like that because it's sort of got a vibe of the new movies while still being original track.
Yeah, it did give me a movie vibe.
And I will say there is one thing with this series that may be off-putting to some people. And it's why I think it's actually probably got one of the best Star Trek intros going. Like, I mean, intros in the first 2 episodes. It's just action through a lot of the first 2 episodes. Less focus on the science stuff. I feel they're probably going to focus on that stuff once they've got you hooked.
Yeah.
But unlike the other series where they started off with the science stuff, which does work, but most people do agree, with each season, they get better as they go on.
Yes.
Like most people say, oh, the best episode, Next Gen got really good around the time of the Borg, which is one of its most action episodes. So this one seems to be doing the reversal, which might get it right. If do the action, then hook them with some like longer drawn out science episodes later.
Yeah, well,
I think that's cool.
Well, Next Gen had a lot of growing pains too. I mean, look at the first few seasons. Yeah, there's just as many good episodes as bad, but the bad ones were really bad. Like they did their opening thing, and it was like, okay, we introduced Q. That's cool. Second episode, let's go to the planet of incredibly racist black people.
I don't know. I feel like there was only like, because I was like comparing the amount of bad episodes Voyager had versus the amount of bad episodes Next Gen had, and I felt like Next Gen maybe only had like 4 like deliberately like just you're garbage. What the fuck are you doing? Episodes where Voyager had probably about 7 or 8 of those.
Voyager had how many episodes did Voyager have? Like 100 episodes. So it had 100 bad episodes.
No, I mean like deliberately like did your fucking kid draw a picture and you made an episode based on this shitty like 5-year-old drawing episode?
Literally, what happened with most of Voyager episodes is one person in one day in the room was like, okay, we need to write this, but we've been busy this week. What should we do? How about a dream episode or a holodeck episode? Yeah. Oh my God, no one's going to see that coming. You know, because after we've done it 50 times, they're not going to think that they're going to do 51 more times. No,
a lot of the episodes are really good and fun. I liked Voyager.
Yeah, but Voyager's also the only
bottom in space.
Yeah, that happened. But Voyager is also the only Star Trek series that has consciously, by the production, had an episode struck from continuity.
Voyager is also the series that ruined the Borg.
That too.
Yeah, I can see that. But I'm gonna say I also really, really enjoyed the entire series. I had a lot of just fun episodes that are literally had no purpose for existing but are fun, and they had other episodes that had no purpose for existing because they're awful.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Yeah,
like you'll 10 episode, like that's how
you'll find about an equal balance in DS9 because there's some episodes where it's real serious, oh, we're dealing with the Dominion or something's going on Bajor, but then an equal number of, oh, hey, here's Bashir and O'Brien are in the holodeck, or Quark is doing something crazy trying to make a profit. It's a decent balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll admit Voyager is the only series of Star Trek I won't rewatch. I've tried rewatching it at times. I'm just like, no, I can't do this.
I couldn't even finish it. I watched the first season and like the first 3 or 4 episodes of the second. I'm like, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
The first season, she pisses me off a lot. Oh my god, the captain pisses me off. But like after that, then it starts getting a lot better.
But,
What do you do about QA? Fuck you, Starfleet.
yeah, but no, but the point I was making was this has a different tone to a lot of Star Trek intro episodes.
Yes, it does.
Which some people may not like because it's got more the same tone as the movies of more action.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying keep with it because it's good. Later on,
Yeah.
it could balance out and they could get more science fiction ones. Because most people do agree the episodes at first are boring. Like a lot of people say, oh, don't even watch Next Gen until Riker grows a beard. That's literally a trope.
No, it is. He is better with the beard, but
yeah, but they're saying once he grew, once he had the beard, it happened to be Star Trek happened to be a lot better.
You know, like I said, the first couple of seasons were a little awkward because there were some where they were like, we're going to try to redo original series episode themes, or we're going to try to do some of this stuff, and it was a real rocky start. They got some good ones here and there, but it was a bit of a rocky start. They after a few seasons they warmed up and got into it. They they got a good one here and there, but it took a little bit of time to get past some of those ones that were a little bad or preachy or whatever.
Season 3 was when it really started to be awesome.
Most people generally agree with that statement because that was because that was where the best of both worlds kicked in.
Well, season 1 was fine, but then Riker was weird, but then Riker was not weird, and then the Doctor was weird, so then they both came back in harmony in season 3.
Yeah, I will say, I thought Enterprise first season was good, because I know a lot of seasons don't, a lot of series don't. I also think Deep Space Nine is a great first season.
It is.
I already saw the first season, so yeah. It was
Although there's a similar trope with DS9 that it doesn't get good until Cisco shaves his hair and grows his beard.
Although that one's actually good, like me and Pew said from the first season. It's not terrible like the other ones.
I didn't say it was true. I just said there was a trope.
I didn't like Cisco initially, but actually after the first season, I started to like him.
Cisco is a badass. You will like him progressively more as the series goes on.
But like I said, with this series, I like the fact it's different in that regard. It's kind of cool.
Sorry, go ahead.
Because after we've watched so many seasons of Star Trek, it is cool to get a different season.
Yeah.
Because they all have different names. They should all feel very different. And besides, Deep Space Nine's on a different place to like Next Gen. Its structure is different, but it still felt like all the other seasons. Okay, Voyager was bad, but it still felt Star Trek-ish, if that makes sense. Like Enterprise even did similar episodes to other ones and stuff. So it's cool if you can look at it not just with the character, but also with how it's structured in a very different way. It could be cool. It could be what the series needs to be refreshed again.
Oh no, Mo. Okay, okay. I thought you froze.
No, I didn't freeze. I was waiting because everyone was just dead quiet after I finished.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I assume Jim probably tuned out.
No.
It kind of looks like you have gunshot holes in your ceiling.
Well, my ceiling?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's just places where the plaster is uneven.
Not to quote if that is a bullet hole, Jim. Not to quote a Magic 8-Ball, but try again later. Suicide joke.
I also really like the phasers in this series.
Yeah, that was cool.
Because I'm still I'm used to like the whole like Next Gen ones where they're basically like I hate the phasers in Next Gen and the other ones. They look like dinky vacuum cleaners. Like that's what all the phasers look like. They look like little dinky tiny vacuum cleaners for your like kitchen or something. But here they actually look like a gun.
It's that's look like a gun in the original. So
yeah,
they need to make it match up.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sure that's like I don't know, possibly a reason on purpose that they made the phasers in Next Gen not look like a gun for whatever reason.
I'll admit, my favorite phasers is still the original series.
I mean, it doesn't look like a cleaning instrument, so. The other one could be like a nose trimmer. I don't know.
I know. With a gun, you can clean up crime.
It's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like how they look like a friggin' gun. They don't look like they're about to, fight crime or grime. Sorry.
But yeah, so final thoughts, I guess. I think we kind of covered everything. Anything else anybody want to mention?
I like how she walked in the shape of a Star Trek badge so they could find her.
That was really clever. Yeah, that proved that she was a smart captain. I like that.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, I like how it's like I said, I like how it's shot. I like everything about it. It's fun. I like this series.
Which actually makes an interesting point about Captain Georgiou there, because she was trapped on a desert planet with an office with one of her crew members. Thought to do that so she could be easily found when her ship came. Years later, Picard gets trapped on a desert planet with Wesley, nearly dies in a cave.
It's because Wesley fucking sucks all the brain juice out of you. You're just so pissed at the kid you can't think of anything else.
True. Although admittedly that
it's because the atmosphere on that planet was different and they wouldn't be able to easily track the symbol.
Oh.
Or, you know, they hadn't thought of it then.
Yeah. Fair enough. Anywho. Final thoughts.
I liked it. It was fun, but I kind of don't like. Well, this is not even like a not like because I don't like the show. I don't have any dislike for the show for it. But it ends too quickly, and then I immediately have to watch another one, and you're sucking up all my time.
I think that's the point.
It's the same runtime.
No, but like it's like, hey, we're about to do a thing, and then we're gonna end it. No, you can't end a thing when you're about to do a thing. You end a thing when things end.
Yeah, it's because it's digital, so yeah, in like a year or two's time, people will binge watch the hell out of it. But it's also enjoyable on a weekly basis. Of, oh, I need to tune in next week. Oh, how's this going to end?
Yep.
Yeah. That drove me crazy. But then Deep Space Nine is also doing that now, so I'm like,
yeah, Deep Space Nine is also very serialized. You're gonna get that a lot.
What is a three-parter? Because I heard the lady say, no, the continuation. I'm like, wait, what's going on? Usually she says, and no, the conclusion. So what's going on here?
Yeah. Which one is that?
Oh, this is, I think, episode, it's the first 3 episodes of the 2nd season.
Ah,
yes, okay. Gotcha. Fair enough. Mole, your final thoughts?
Yep, like I said, I'd give this a thumbs up. I like everything about this. I will admit, my only nitpick is the intro's weird. But, because at first I was like, okay, for an anthology, that makes sense. But if it's not an anthology, it's a little weird. But I can get over it. Like I said, I liked the Enterprise and I had a different intro. It's just, the intro's a little off. But I still like it. And it's totally worth getting on that. It's totally worth getting Netflix to watch it.
Or CBS Access.
All access, yep. Or if you're that kind of person, I would wager there's a 98% chance it'll be on DVD after the season, so you can always pick that up too.
I would say, no, you can't do that.
Why?
You have to say that when it comes to your go. You asked me my final thoughts, and my final thought was, it's worth getting Netflix for, because that's from my approach. It's worth it. It's cool. Then you go to yours, and you can say what format you think it's worth waiting for.
I know those rules. Okay.
Well, it's like if you went, I'm guessing you're probably going to vote it a 7. Like everything else, probably going to get a 7. But once you've done that, I can't then turn and say, no, Jim, come on, it's an 8. Come on, Jim, it's a 9. Come on, Jim, it's a 10. 10. But, sorry.
I would have given it 8.5.
7.
Okay.
7. Or 75, or whatever Jim's going to do. It's going to be some variation on 7.
No, this is actually much better than I don't. Honestly,
7 9.
Yeah, no. I had some doubts going into this because I wasn't totally, it sounded interesting, but I wasn't totally sold, especially given the trying to get you to pay for service to watch it. But it was actually worth it. It was really entertaining. I'm still waiting to see, some more information and backstory and exactly how it fits into the continuity. But it's really enjoyable so far. I like the Klingons. I like the way the ship crew interacted. Some of the new characters. I'm interested to see the actual Discovery show up to see. To see Captain Lorca and his crew and see how that all plays out, and presumably see some of the Shenzhou crew move over. So that'll be really interesting and enjoyable when that happens. So I'm looking forward to watching more episodes of this. Definitely worth getting all access for, if only to check out the first few episodes to decide if you like it. Because if you don't, you can always cancel it, and it's only costing you $6.
You should do it. You should do is get all access at the end of like the series, and you can watch all the episodes in a month, and you don't have to pay for 1 month.
That too. You could do that too, or wait, or like I said, wait for the DVDs to come out. You can always check those out too. It'll presumably be on DVD Blu-ray.
And if you watch any of our other shows, please feel free to point out in the comments how James thought it was weird that someone would try and hook you with some sort of content onto a network. And please feel free to leave it on all of our wrestling reviews.
Yeah, but that made it worthwhile because they decided we're going to take something that we were charging you $60 a month for and give it to you for $10 a month plus all this other stuff.
And CBS is saying, "Hey, here's a new Star Trek series that if it was on TV, you'd have to pay for our license and watch it for this amount. Now you can get it for that and all this other CBS content."
Yeah, the other CBS content on there is really not that good unless you're a football fan and want to stream the NFL crap.
Yeah, I was like, I don't really like the other CBS content.
Yeah, there's not really much on there. That's why I was on. I'm really happy to pay extra for cable so I can have it on my TV. But man,
Yeah, you may not, but other people may.
Yeah.
The only reason I say that is like the WWE Network. Just because you like, say, Hell in a Cell that just happened, doesn't mean you're suddenly going to watch Swerved.
That's true.
And I'm sure CBS will move other content there when it starts to get higher.
Hopefully. We'll see. I do know that all the Star Trek shows are on there at least, so that's something.
Like the CBS own comment, doesn't it do like Big Bang Theory and stuff?
Yes, they do. Yep.
So they should put that over there.
And Young Sheldon.
Yeah, that was the thing. Somebody noted there was a couple of those series that they had that were known, but they only had like the first couple seasons, and then the most recent episodes, they didn't have the whole thing for a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense because then eventually you get more and more.
Yeah, and if they go that route, then fair enough. That will certainly make it worthwhile. The biggest issue is the problem is they have a lot of shows, but a lot of the shows are not they're licensed to CBS for airing, but they're not produced by CBS, and as a result, there's rights issues.
Plus, based on the fact that I know season 1 was CBS, I think, shouldn't Supergirl season 3 be on there?
Ha!
They do own half of the CW network, so theoretically they own half the show.
Technically, they don't.
Rorschach, hi Rorschach.
Yeah, technically they don't, Jim.
Oh.
Because it's owned by DC and Warner Bros. And it moved to, because CBS is owned half, with them owning half of CW, it moved there just to be a Warner Bros. Thing and not take up CBS stuff.
Okay, yeah, because CBS and Warner Bros. On that network, so that makes sense.
I like the new Supergirl.
Fair enough.
Season 2 started weirdly, but I still like it.
Okay.
So that was our review of Supergirl.
No, wait. Sure, why not?
Sorry, no, you were rating it.
Yeah, no, if I was going to rate this... No, it's not. No. I would say 8.5.
That's what I said. Cheater.
You said 8. I said 8.5.
I said 8.5. I literally
Fine,
did.
I give it a 9 then. Fuck you.
I said 9.1, which means I'm the closest without going over.
Good, you can go play Plinko. Anyway. Yeah, definitely not. It's definitely worth watching. It's really well made. The acting is great. The makeup and cosmic special effects are great. It's really enjoyable. It's worth the $6 to at least check it out. Or if you wait till the episode's on there to get the whole season for the one shot of the month, it's definitely worth watching. It's a good series, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes and hoping it keeps up this level of quality and enjoyability.
Yep.
Thumbs up.
I gave it a thumbs up.
You did.
Jim gave it 7.
No. There's no 7 involved. But anyway, thank you two for joining me for this Origins.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, Jim. I had to bring the award-winning talent to this.
Of course.
To this Origins.
And we have a dancing cat. That's going to get us views.
Yep. Hashtag Pew's pussy now trending.
Yes. All right. Well, we will see you this coming Saturday for the aforementioned review of the CW crossover event Invasion.
No.
In which it ends with Austin turning.
Yes.